Welcome back, guys. It's another week, another Nerd Talk. So, my luck is so bad today. I wake up late to work. I had 10 minutes to get to work when I woke up. I was just like, I slept through my alarm clock somehow. And for my friends, they'd know that, like, I'm really good about waking up. And then I tried to do a recording, and my recording didn't record. I don't know why, but I just been spending like 40 minutes talking to myself, so that's great. But hopefully, round two it goes a little bit smoother. So this week, as you can see, we have a new game. It is called Banished. It's a Steam game that I got. I like it quite a bit. It's a village management type game. The premise of the game is that these people got banished, so now we have to live in a new town that I get to create, and I get to manage who works what and all the resource management, all that stuff, and try to get a thriving town, and hopefully they don't all die, which is very possible. So that is what we will be playing. And I'm going to do a shout out to the Shining Rock Software, the people who helped make this game, because they are cool and awesome for letting anybody do gameplay of this game for free. No permission, no nothing. They kind of encourage it. So thank you guys for that and for making a fun game. So besides that, my actual talking points for this week. First off, we'll be talking about D&D. A small little story about last week and two new things that are being added to it. After that, we will be talking about We're going to be talking about the new game on Steam. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but it's a game called distractions. Paladins. Yes, the free-to-play game Paladins. We will be talking about that. After that, we will be talking a little bit about a book series that I've been reading. And then we'll go into our comic section of this talking. So, let's just start off with D&D. So, last week, I only have like one story to kind of talk about. So, playing-wise, I got super excited for last week because my DM wasn't able to prep too much, so he used a lot of stuff I rolled and stuff because I over-prepared and he needed some of it. So I was like, cool. I don't care that I know what's happening, but I know when the magical item that's going to happen. It's the Javelin of Lightning. My guy is a lightning dragon sorcerer type guy, so this is perfect, like, Flavor Flav and all that. And ended up that sorcerers can't use simple weapons just straight out. They can barely use any weapons. They get a small list and they're like, yep, that's what you get to use. And I'm just like, oh. But the worst part is I didn't even know that until someone told me. They're just like, by the way, at the end of the session, that you can't use that, right? Like, it's sorcerers don't get to do that. And I'm like, wait, what? And I read the page. I'm like, no, why? So I'll have to be giving that up. But yeah, I got that. It was 2 seconds of awesome. There was some really good role playing with it. We were going to this bar to talk to someone, and I'm super charismatic, so I'm usually the one talking. And but I'm also part dragon because I'm a dragon sorcerer, and so I was, I like shiny things. That is one perk of my character. And so he was just looking at the javelin, and so I was just rolling a simple will save to break out of it. Roll a d20. If I get 10 or higher with my ability scores and all that stuff, which I think was a +1. So if I rolled 9 or higher on a d20, I would be free. Simple as that. And I rolled the first time and I failed. I'm like, Okay, this moment in the conversation, I'll roll. It still didn't roll, so they're trying to have a conversation without their charismatic guy, and they're trying to have the conversation, and it's not going so well. And then someone's being really weird and eccentric, and I roll again to try and be like, okay, guys, we're getting out of this. Like, I need to start doing my stuff, and again. I think I rolled like a 4 and a 5 and a 4 and a 5 and a 3 and a 2 and an 8, and I just kept rolling. I kept making up more and more excuses, and I'm just like banging my head against the table, being like, oh my god, why can't I roll above a freaking 9? Like, I'm really not trying. Like, I was telling the people, like, I swear, I'm not trying to be a jerk right now. Like, I made up the rules, and it's not helping me. So eventually I finally did it, and then I just became suave, flatterer, mother trucker. Like, it was this older gal that we were talking to, so I was just flattering her, listening to her stories, just doing all my normal charismatic things. And after that it went well, but man, it was the struggle bus for me for a while. But the other thing for D&D, so I was in my magic shop searching for, hobby shop, comic shop, whatever you want to call it. I was in the shop looking around for things, and then I couldn't find them, so I went to the Dungeons and Dragons section for a little bit because I didn't have anywhere to be, and I was reading the books like I do, and I saw the first book that makes me super excited is it's called The Follow's Guide to Monsters, and this is a new book that just came out. And the reason why I was excited for it, so it does do some like, oh, here are some new things you can do with monsters. I'm like, I really don't care, but I mean, it's cool, but I don't need it. But the coolest part for it was it has new playable races in it. It has I don't even know. I think it's double digits. I think it's like just above 10. New races you can play. And I was like, oh my god. I've been looking for more races because I really don't want to play a human. Because I find them boring. I don't care for gnomes because just trying to max... I've been there, done that. And then, like, a lot of the other ones have been like dwarves. I just did that in the season before this one. I'm currently playing my first tiefling. And so forth and so forth. So more things to play, more things to role play as. They're pretty exciting. I don't know all their names yet, and I probably never will because some of them are hard for me to pronounce, and I suck at pronouncing things, so that's unfortunate. But there's lizard people who are super they're cold-blooded. They straight up say, the phrase cold-blooded? That describes these creatures. And I'm just like, I can't believe they just described them like that. Like, I get it, but it's funny how they went about it. So we have lizard people, we have cat people, we have bird people. As you can see, a lot of people. The bird people are very interesting. So basically, they can't create new things. They can only mimic really well. So they're really good at forgery. But that also goes with their talking. They only learn words by mimicking others. And it's not just like they heard rock, so they say rock in their voice. They mimic that person's voice. And they just, that one rock, if that's the only person they ever heard it from, they'll go through the conversation. And that's always how you hear them, that one guy. So it's really funny. It could be really fun role-playing, kind of. I mean, anyone who actually stuck to it and tried to perfectly roleplay their the words, that might get a little annoying. And they actually they have a little box that recommends kind of against doing that, and I'm just like, really? What? That's funny. So yes, that was that race. Then there was Azamar, which are like tieflings but celestial based. Then there is hobgoblins, bugbears, goblins, kobolds. Maybe there wasn't double digits. But yeah, there's those groups. So that one's pretty funny. Like, kobolds are silly. Kobolds basically have something called cower, and it's basically just trying to distract the opponents. But like hearing that, I'm just like, you've got to be cower. Seriously, we're not even gonna pretend. No pretending. Okay, gotcha. So that was just hilarious. Like this, I'm just excited. It's gonna be a good time playing with these new things. But that was just some of them. I know I'm missing out on some. I think there's snake people, and then there's this new fayish like one or druid. I don't even know how to describe it. No one really knew how to describe it. We were all just like, how would you describe? Really? Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. So that's really fun. Looking forward to that. If you are like a DM type person making your own campaigns, this is gonna be high up there for new books you probably want with those new player characters, to give people those options. Otherwise, I don't know if it might be good, even if you're not a DM person, just so that you can help you with that and just learn about the new monsters and all that stuff. So here to Wizards of the Coast for making more books for us. Huzzah. After that, the other book, and I couldn't believe it was actually there, because it wasn't there like last week, and suddenly, look here, it was a 5th edition book for Middle Earth Player's Handbook. And I kind of flipped a little. I'm just like, oh my god, it's Middle Earth. I love Middle Earth. And I actually Snapchatted to some friends, and one of them just like, who lives like 4 hours away, he's just like, I can justify coming back every weekend for this campaign, right? Right? No, you can't, but you could, I guess. You make more money than me. But so yeah, that was really cool. And I'm really excited. I know they added a couple new mechanics. One is called Shadow, and I didn't get to read them. I just saw on the player sheet in the ability scores on the bottom it said Shadow, and then it says permanent, which the other one said save. So I'm really curious what that's about, and it seems really cool to me. And then the other one, I gotta go potato. I'll pick up potatoes for ye. And then the other one was Corruption, which is a saving throw, which again, I'm very interested to know what that's about. So yeah, Shadow, Corruption. The downside I noticed is that the background for this mostly bases it off of right after The Hobbit finished, which is still interesting because, you know, right after you don't know necessarily what's happened, but it's in the Third Age, which I was really hoping they'd do stuff in like the First or Second Age, like the stuff in the Silmarillion that we just don't know as much about. It'd be a really cool era to explore and get some base, but it's just a simple player's handbook, so it goes into some depth to help you out, but it's not a full campaign there from what I could tell. So if you're interested in making your own Middle Earth campaign, highly recommend to get it. But I definitely put Volo's Guide ahead of that, because I don't know if I would make one anytime soon. I don't have like a dedicated friend group to play around with all the time. I just have Adventure League, and I know they're not likely going to do that. So, but yeah, that was D&D for the week. Now, moving on to the fun, the new, the exciting, the free Paladins. So again, I said this was a Steam game that is free. I believe it's in the beta. And what makes me think that is the fact that I keep saying beta a lot on the different screens and stuff. I like to call these champion games, where you get to play as a champion and learn their spells and abilities and all that stuff, like LoL, Battleborn, Overwatch, kind of Team Fortress, but Team Fortress is kind of a little bit not quite there. But it's one of those games. It's a first-person shooter perspective, so it's not like that top-down of LoL. It's more like Battleborn in its respect. But the fun part, like I said before, is that it is free. So me and my friends started playing it. They got me to start playing it. And, playing by myself, it was all right. It was okay at first. I'm not the biggest fan of champion games, just because I really want to play them out perfectly, min-max them, know when to do their abilities, do it at the right time, hit the right thing, be in the right position, working the right way with different groups and stuff. And a lot of times it doesn't end up going that way for me because I just don't put that much time into it. So I basically feel bad that I'm sucking so much, is a short way of saying that. So but playing with my friends it's a lot of fun. Like when you play with friends, even bad games can feel really fun. Though I wouldn't call this a bad game. I have been enjoying it more so the more I played it and the more I get to understand characters. I think I found a character that I like because he's kind of tanky, but he can grab the people in the back with a grappling hook and pull them in, which is just, when it was played against me, it was just like, well, it was fun playing with you guys. And so pulling someone in, I'm just like, well, I guess you had fun in the back. Now get over here. The one downside for me so far is that my internet has been really crappy when I play it. Like, it just randomly doesn't want to work. And I don't know if that's because I'm in a bedroom and my router is in the living room, or if my internet is just screwing me over because they can. But yeah, it just randomly goes in and out at different points, which is really inconvenient when you're doing a game online that you need to not be doing that, You know what I'm saying? So that has been a struggle of some sorts. But the nice thing is, so it's technically a freemium game in the fact that you can buy stuff, but it's not a bad freemium where you feel like you can't buy anything. I've already unlocked, I have the potential to unlock 2 more champions out of I think it's 15 champions, and you already start out with 4 or 5, which just in your first, and I'm barely I've played under 10 hours worth. I don't think I've played that much. So, the amount of time I put in to how much I can expand now it's nice. It's good enough. If I ever got super amazing at it, I'm sure I'll have all of them unlocked. But if you're interested, if you have free money lying around and you just want to chuck it at a game, you could definitely do it here. It's not unreasonable, but I personally wouldn't. As of right now, because still beta and all that, and I just super frugal personally. But it's a fun game. It's good. It's better than Battleborn. I'm sorry for anyone who likes Battleborn, but I got really frustrated with the matchmaking in that game. I always felt the match was either super easy or just impossible. There was no in between. There was no just, that was a good hard fought battle. I also felt trying to, so there's a campaign mode, a story mode, so you just play against hordes of things and you play with other players, and then there was one where it's player versus player teams, and that felt like LOL to me, but hard LOL, where I didn't even get there was no learn, it was just throws you in against people. I'm just well, I'm not that good, guys, and I'm playing against much better people, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So that was unfortunate for that. And again, I never felt either my team was the best team in the world or we were all just craptastic. There was never an in-between, so I didn't care too much about Battleborn, but there was a character I absolutely love. Can't remember their name, but that is I did really enjoy playing them. And I guess the person I'm playing now is kind of in the same area. They're both tanky. They both had this grapple and all that. So at least I got that going for me. But I definitely, go ahead, try it, play with your friends. It's great with your friends. I have enough friends to field 5 people on a team, so that's fun to talk to them and coordinate while playing. But yeah, definitely, go try it. at worst, it's just a little waste of time, but who cares? You get a little variety in life if you don't play these games much or whatever. You learn something. It's free. Why not try it? So that's Paladins. After that is I'm reading a book series called Magnus, Chase, and the Gods of Asgard, which so that's the series name. And that might sound weird, and that's because it is weird, but it's awesome. I really enjoy it. It's by my favorite author right now, which is Rick Riordan, who also did Percy Jackson and The Olympians. I really like these books because they're what I like to call realistic fiction. No, sorry. What is it? Real world fantasy. Basically what it is you have like modern world where we live in, but then you add the fantasy elements to it. So in this case, the gods are real and only certain people know about it. And they have some type of connection with the gods in some way. So some are like the children of the gods, so they're demigods, so they're mortals, but they have some powers. Some are just stumble upon it, or their family had, whatever reason. But this is all going on with most people not even realizing it, like normal people. But like I said, I really like this book. I really like Rick Riordan. I loved his the Greek world that he's built, and he's actually writing so he's wrote Percy Jackson and Olympians. That's the first series, and then he wrote one called the Heroes of Olympus series. So that's the second one. That was a mixture of Greek and Roman. And then now he's in a third series in just the Greek area of this world, and that one's called Trials of Apollo. And I love Trials of Apollo. Like, I was enthralled by it, so I am excited for more of those. Only one book there. I'm currently reading the second book of Magnus Chase, The Hammer of Thor. One, I guess, and downside of these books is that a lot of people give me flack because they're not that hard to read. They're definitely, consider them young adult books, might be stretching it some, and depending, like Percy Jackson and Olympians is pretty, that was his first book, and it's a very simple read. But frankly, I don't think that matters. When I'm reading for enjoyment. And I enjoy these books. I love the world they're in. It's one of my favorite things where you have real world and fantasy, mixed together. I like Riordan's humor. I love mythology. So getting any stories about mythology is just the bee's knees to me. And I like his different stories have all been very fun. It's nice you can tell he's grown as a writer, and I can even look at my bookshelf. If you look at the first 5 books, they're like 7 inches altogether, maybe 8 inches. And then the other ones are definitely like a foot or more, probably just a foot. It's like, oh, that's a big difference. And the Norse ones, there's kind of in between in sizing. But it's so fun. This guy, his main person's Magnus, and he's really interesting because you're talking about Norse and Valhalla and Vikings and stuff, and this guy was just not what you expect for a Viking type. He's just not that, not at all. And it's fun seeing him interact with, because he ends up going to Valhalla, and in like the first chapter, so it's not like even a spoiler. Who's surprised Valhalla? Who would have thought a Norse thing talked about that? And he has to do with all these, dead Vikings preparing for Ragnarok and stuff. And he's just like, this is crazy. So fun seeing like someone who just doesn't fit in, but still part of it. You also get more shout outs about the other series in this one. Just mentioning of it, but I just love how Riordan put all of his books in the same universe. And actually in a sequel series, it's an Egyptian series, they just have one line that just basically the world's being explained to the protagonist's brother and a sister by their uncle, and they're on the east side of a river because that's the side that the Egyptians usually were on, because that's the side of the living, and the West is usually the side of death, and yada yada yada. And so the gods mostly focus on the east side for Egyptians. And then the boy asks, well, what about the west side? And the uncle's like, oh, they have their own gods to deal with, or something like that. And it's like, was that a reference? Oh my god, they're in the same world. That's hilarious. So those little things are what really get me to, squeal like a little girl. That was a terrible, terrible squeal. Why are my potatoes happening? Weird. Sorry about that. Got stick by my game. But yes, Magnus Chase. Love it. Recommend it. Entertaining. Simple read. Most of the books are like you could read in a day if you have time over the weekend or something, especially the first series. But you've seen him mature as a writer. They get a little bit longer. But I hope he keeps writing, because I will keep reading his stuff. And the reason why I'm probably not reading something like Game of Thrones or some of those other more mature series, Dresden Files, stuff like that, is that I'm the most pickiest reader in the world. Like, it's hard. Like, if I can't get into it right away, I'm not going to get into it. I can't force myself to do it. And that's same with shows. Like, I don't force myself. Well, I have to have some level of interest in the first moments, or it's just, no. People will tell me, no, you just gotta wait. Just get to, like, the second season or something. I'm just like, no, screw you. I'm not doing that. I won't make it through the first season. I'll miss out on stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I'm very picky. So I've been really attached to Rick Riordan. And another one was Ian Colfer, who did Artemis Fowl, though I think he's done with the Artemis Fowl stuff. Well, he's done with the Artemis Fowl, but I haven't looked him up in a while, actually. But I really attached to them because I really like their books, and since it's something I know I'd like, and I actually do really like reading, it's something I attach to, and will read everything by those people if possible. But I don't get into other ones too easily. And for some reason, like, when someone recommends a book to me, it's like the biggest, like, oh, I can't read it now. And I don't know why. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But I think, like, as a child, like, people kept forcing stuff on me so much that I just automatically turn off recommendations. So that's my life in the reading. But anyway, so that's the book. If you're interested in mythos and all that stuff, highly recommend what Rick Riordan writes. It's a fun style of getting into it. After that, we get to talk about the comics for the week. So this week, I decided to, instead of trying to marathon the thing to catch up or anything like that, I just decided to read an issue from 3 different titles. And they were All-Star Batman, Flash 2016, and Batman 2016. And in the future, I'll diversify more. But I found out All-Star Batman's a monthly issue. The new issue came out, so I had to read it because, like I said in like previous ones, I really like it. So that is why I read that for this week. Oh, we're about to die. Sorry, that was very grim, but I realize my people do not have enough foods. Or food, if you're into that whole thing of calling it. So, yep, reading one for each one. Because reading one issue at a time from each one, I think will... otherwise, it kind of gets all muddled to me. Because I'll read a whole bunch, and then the ordering can kind of get wrong, and I think it'll just be simpler, just read one issue, and then I kind of know what happened in that week. And then it also kind of gives a better review of this issue specific one, so you can understand what happened there. So starting off with All-Star Batman issue 4. So this was the story about Batman's basically trying to bring a villain to a certain place. There's a bounty on trying to stop Batman. It's kind of like a classic type story. I've definitely seen it multiple times, so it's not unheard of. And it's been pretty awesome because Batman's just been battling all these people. There's been all these different random cameos of different groups of people just appearing, who I've been just like, wait, can we talk about how Firefly was in this diner fighting him, or the Court of Owls was this week. Specifically, Court of Owls showed up this week, which I'm just like, wait, what? Can we just talk about how the Court of Owls are here right now? So that was fun. And yeah, like I said, Batman's just pure badass. In this one, he just becomes blinded and he flies a biplane still. Because he's just like, well, it'll fix itself by the time we get there. By the time we land. No. Let's talk about this. Like, you can't see and you're flying a plane. I'm not comfortable with this. And then the other thing, so we have that bounty trying to bring someone there going on while they flash back to Duke's training, which had to do with Zsasz, who's just a psychotic murderer. That's just all he is. He's not just like Joker crazy. He's just a legit serial killer who just kills people to alleviate them from life. It's very simple, but he's very creepy and stuff. So you have Zsasz type story where Duke's trying to figure out some stuff about a victim who survived twice from Zsasz and just some people who died from him and just his beginning trainings and stuff. So it feels like the Zsasz one ends up resolving itself where they find Zsasz, figure out the issue they're having, and then he asks, at the end of that, what's next, which makes me excited for more Duke, because I really like Duke. He is the most recent sidekick of the Robin role, and yeah, like I said, I like Duke. I think he'll be interesting, and I can't wait to see where he goes. After that, I read Flash issue 2. So in the first one, we find out that his friend got struck by lightning and got the Speed Force. In this one, Flash starts to see what his friend can do. It was the issue was fine, and it was a good enough read. I will say I don't like where I see it going. At some point, you have Flash and his friend talking about crime fighting, because one is a cop and then Flash is a forensic scientist. And he's just like, well, now we have these powers. We could just do this. Like, why would we want to do it by the book? And Flash is like, no, we have to do it by the book and stuff. And I feel like that's been done before in a lot of different things, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's going to do its own way. But I just not excited for that type of story necessarily. So I hope it's not too cliche. But I will say the redeeming part of this was at the end. So you have his friend gets struck by lightning. And at the end, the bad guy makes a storm of Speed Force Thunder, hitting multiple speedsters. So we're going to have to see where that goes, because that sounds pretty crazy, if I have to say so myself. So that was Flash issue 2. Yeah, with that Speed Force storm, then we're going to interesting stuff. The downside is that I was expecting a little bit more about figuring out what happened with the Flashpoint, who's messing with the time stream and all that, blah, 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 blah. And it ended up not really happening, which I guess makes sense, because they can't just have one title have all the fun. But yeah, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, it's gone. And that Wally West who came back, he's with the Teen Titans, so he's not here anymore. So yep, bye. And I'm just like, oh wait, what? Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I understand why it went that way, and I've just put too much pressure on it. So that was a letdown personally, but it's not a bad thing. It's just a personal letdown from myself getting so hyped up. So after Flash 2 was Batman 2016 issue number 9. So we finished the Monster Men. We are going to keep going off of that a little bit, because Hugo Strange got that venom from somewhere to make those monsters, and that came from Bane, who gave it to him to have the Psycho Pirate, who messed with a new super person named Gotham Girl, whose brother also got manipulated by Psycho Pirate. He controls people's emotions, and then he basically ended up getting Gotham killed, and then his sister's having bad nightmares, so Batman's just like, I need to save her. So Batman's gonna go on a mission that is suicidal by Waller's standards, which I was just like, oh God, why did we have to say that? Because just like, come on, guys, we didn't need Waller to say it was gonna be suicide. But this one was Batman 9 was a fun one, and honestly, you probably don't need to read much more before it, besides know that he's going after Psycho Pirate to help a girl, which is already kind of explained. So you could just start at issue 9 and be totally fine. But it's him making his own squad, which was unexpected. I thought he was actually going to work with the Suicide Squad, have a little crossover there, ring and ding ding, have fun with that. But no, he is making his own squad, and he's making it from Arkham inmates, and it was pretty cool. The first one that came up was the ventriloquist, so he has a dummy called Scarface, and he's in the cartoon show quite a bit. And I was really surprised because he doesn't have Scarface. He's in Arkham Asylum trying to get better, so they make it sound like Scarface won't even come up at all. But I'm just like, okay, what's a ventriloquist gonna do? Who knows? We don't know. The next one is a martial artist named Bronze Tiger, who seems to have a more friendly relationship with Batman than I expected. So I'm interested to see if any of that will be explained. I think I've heard stuff about Bronze Tiger before, but I'm just not sure. But I really like their interaction. Honestly, the issue, I think just how they meet up was pretty good and worth reading it kind of for that. The next one was really interesting. The guy is called Punchy. I didn't expect how he would enter in. I've never heard of him, but he sounds like he's gonna be a good time, a good fun time. So I don't want to spoil too much about how he entered, but it was just like, wait, what? What is happening? And then the last one, and this one I'm not gonna tell you who it is. I was completely surprised and excited and woo. But he goes into a room. The person has like a mask on, so they can't, like a Hannibal Lecter type mask. Well, it's more. It's like one of those insane asylum masks where they put over the person, so you couldn't see who they were, and they can't do anything bad. They're in the straight jacket. Couldn't remember that earlier today. Straight jacket, and they were kind of in the dark, so you couldn't quite see it. And at first, so Batman's talking to them in a familiar manner, and I'm like, "Is that the Joker? No, that can't be the Joker. The Joker's gone. That can't. Is it? I can't tell by the build. I can't tell this. Is that Harley then? No, they were they? I don't know. I don't know. Deadshot maybe. So I didn't know who it was going to be, and when I saw it, it was awesome. I'm not going to spoil it. Go and read it yourself. If you like Batman, it's fine. Just straight up read it. It's silly. And it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one single issue. It's not even supposed to be a big deal. It's just, getting the team together. It's not even the actual mission. I can't wait to see how they all interact, though, because, that should be interesting. Like, the ventriloquist, what the hell is he going to do it in this? I just don't know. I don't know. But it will be fun, and we will have good times. So that was Batman issue 9. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we're done for this week, and I totally forgot to talk about in my talking points, was I went to a movie this weekend. The movie was great. We had fun times. It was only $8 to go to the movie with these really laxing lazy boys, and it was not terribly far away from where I live, so good on me. But this movie was Doctor Strange. And I don't want to overhype it because I feel like it's going to get a little bit of overhyping because of how much people are raving about it. But it was a good movie. It really was a good movie. I probably put in my top 3 Marvel movies. So yay on that. So it was fun. I didn't know much about Doctor Strange going in, so take that as you will. I'm usually very picky about when my superheroes like Batman gets portrayed or Superman. So if you're a big Doctor Strange, you know, you need to go into that movie knowing you really love Doctor Strange and take it as you will. But not knowing much about him, not knowing much about how the magic world worked in Marvel, I had a good time. I was very entertained by the movie, which, you know, is what I want out of a movie. I honestly, I thought it was weird watching Benedict Cumberbatch in an American accent. My head kind of tilted. I'm just like, yeah, I guess he would have to be American, wouldn't he? Cool. And then kept watching. But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you've watched the other Marvel movies and liked it, go see it. It was pretty awesome. If you like kind of like fantasy stuff, go watch it, or superhero movies. Just go watch it. It's good. If you don't like superhero movies, you know what? Don't watch it because you don't like superhero movies. Fair enough. Good on you. But yeah, Doctor Strange, fun time by all. And that was the last thing I wanted to talk about this week. Next week, I'm gonna do at least 2 more the comic issues are gonna be Flash issue 3, Batman issue 10, and I decided on Justice League. I might throw one more in as a mystery, maybe not, but I'm definitely gonna do Justice League because last time I left off, it was really interesting, personality shifting and stuff, and people going crazy. I don't know what's happening, but stuff's about to go down, so I just remember that, so I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna have fun with that. Hopefully next week I would love to play Paladins to kind of show it off a little bit. But I've had a horrible time internet wise, and I've had a horrible time trying to record stuff. Like I said, this is my second time trying to record just this. And Banished is more like a Minecraft where I can make it not full screen and all that, but maybe I'll get lucky next week. We'll see. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this week's talk. I hope you all have a great week, and until next week, enjoy yourselves. I'm so bad at ending these. Anyways, bye.